What's going on YouTube? Today I just wanted to make a super in-depth look at the Apple Vision Pro and I want to tell you more about my experience with the device. With that being said, man, where do I start? Where do I start with this device? All right, so number one, before I even just deep dive into this video, I want to talk about the price. I feel like the price is one of the biggest things about the AVP that people have all been talking about. So number one, whenever you're buying anything in life, I don't care whether it's a new car, a pair of shoes, a hoodie like this one that I have on, anything, there's always a price associated with it. Apple products tend to be on the higher end. For anybody who creates content like myself, most likely you're using a MacBook Pro or another souped up Mac. Now, that doesn't mean that the price is justified, but whatever the case may be, the point I'm making is with whatever you want in life, some things you want, there has a certain price to it. So the price is expensive. Mind you, this device is not for everybody. So the price is expensive. I just want to point that out. If you're just strictly going off price, 1000%, I would just encourage you to get the Quest 3. This video is for the people where price is not, it's not an issue. Also, with that being said, I want to make sure I point this out. I'm somebody who's had to work for everything I've ever gotten in life. So I'm not somebody who started off rich. And like a lot of people are on the internet, right? People like to paint this vision, oh, this or that. No, I have a job just like a lot of other people, just like I'm sure a lot of you all do. So I just wanted to make that clear. With things like this, these are big purchases. I definitely consider this a big purchase, the same way if I'm going to go get a cinema camera, a laptop, even if you're buying a car, even if you're buying a cash car. For this price, for $3,500, you can do a lot of things. So I just wanted to point that out. It's not a cheap item. And I also don't like the notion of people saying, well, oh, you can't afford it, all this type of stuff to different people. No, I understand. Look, I was once just like the other person on the side of the screen. Growing up, mom, can I get this? Dad, can I get this? No, no, no. That was the answer. So growing up through life, as you get older, as you work for the things that you want, you save money, you learn how to manage money, and you get the things you want. So now that we've got that out the way, let's talk about the actual device. Where do I start? So I think it's important to start at about what the device can actually do. What is it capable of? Just to be clear, the AVP can do a lot of the same things that the Quest 3 can do. However, it does it differently, just like the way a PC works from a Mac. Let's establish that. The Apple Vision Pro is definitely a more polished product. Now, when I'm saying polished, I don't mean in terms of working out all the kinks. I don't mean in terms of the design. I'm just saying with Apple products, the user interface, things like that always tend to be a little bit more polished. Because realistically, the Quest has been out for a lot longer. So it's definitely going to have a lot of kinks worked out, price point, all of that different stuff. You can hack it. You can do a bunch of different stuff. But I just want to say the user interface on the Vision Pro is more polished. But honestly, come on. With Apple products, that's just what we've grown to expect at this point. Aside from it being polished, I want to talk about some of the things that it could do. So just like the Quest can do, you can browse the internet, you can hop on apps, you can connect it to your MacBook Pro or even regular MacBook. You can also multitask and run a bunch of applications at once. One of the biggest benefits of this device is like the iPhone and the MacBook Pro, the Apple ecosystem. So you got your iMessages going right here. You can run the FaceTime. Now, I haven't seen an option to do regular phone calls, but I wouldn't be surprised if that comes out within a future update. But you can definitely easily FaceTime people. It's also extremely easy to do the screen share and run it with your MacBook Pro, so that's a plus. But in terms of things that it does uniquely, right now there are simply not enough apps on the App Store for it to truly have something that it can do over other devices. Right now, I think purely at the stage that the device is in, it's for people who want all their device. This is for people who want all of their things connected. So like if you like the idea of you can respond to a text right here, but then you can also get some work done and you can also play a game right here, or you can listen to some music right here while scrolling TikTok all the way over there. That's what this device is for. Like I said earlier, the ecosystem. Aside from that, I want to talk a little bit about the design of the actual product. So as you can see from a design perspective, this is something that Apple has always been, great at, to be honest. The only thing I don't like about the design is the fact that the battery, you got to have it in your pocket. It's almost like running a USB cable to a PC. They could have definitely done a little bit better right there, but it's the first generation, so it's just kind of one of those things. I guess the issue is, like I said, the Quest 3 is lighter. The Quest 3 also has more accessories out, so you can easily put the Quest 3 on. Quest 3 has a built-in battery, so in that area, under the design, they could have definitely done better. Once you get past the fact that you have to plug a battery in your head, Once you get past that, the design is beautiful. Just like any other Apple product, sleek. Well, it's sleek, but it's still big. Let me not. It's sleek, but it's still big. But once you get past that, man, the design is clean. It can definitely fit up with any of Apple's other products, whether it's a MacBook, iPhone. Apple just has nice looking products. So the design is definitely one of my favorite designs from different VR headsets I've seen on the market. Um, the design does feature metal, so that does naturally make the device heavier. Now, I'm sure as time goes on, there are definitely going to be like more headset options for the device. Some third parties are going to make headsets so you can better balance it on your head, which will make it more comfortable. With that being said, you could easily hop on Etsy right now and get attachments to actually connect like the ones you use for the Quest. So that is cool, but there are no official adapters or third party headsets out. There are there are no official third party headsets out right now, so you have to use the one it comes with, or you have to like buy an extra one from Apple. Which the knit band from Apple is pretty cool. It's just not the most comfortable. However, if you're like laying back like this and using it, let's say on a bed or something, then it's fine. But if you're standing up in the way that you would use a Quest, after a while, you're like, this thing is kind of heavy. So I just wanted to let everybody know the device is definitely heavier. It's not like heavy, heavy, but it's definitely heavier than the Quest for sure. The next thing I want to talk about is the ease of use. That's where this device shines, or that's one of the strong points of this device. Apple products just naturally have the ease of use factor. It's no different than seeing like a lot of little kids with iPads or people like the iPhone. It's just a very simple product. The eye tracking on the device works extremely well. You pretty much look, pinch. You want to zoom in, zoom in. You want to swipe, swipe. If you want to like make the screen larger, you can do like this, or you can just like look at the corner and put it like that. So it's super easy to use. As I said in my other video, I have not had a chance to check out the Quest Pro's eye tracking, but I'm sure it's good as well. But the eye tracking works exceptionally well. If they had controllers, I think the controllers will work well too. So for me, one of the ways I like to use this device is I like to connect it with my MacBook, work on my script writing in the immersive mode. And I just wanted to point this out. So let's say you have it connected to your MacBook. So by doing that, now your trackpad and your keyboard is connected. You can actually scroll with the trackpad that's on your MacBook and use it to fidget around on the other apps that are in the device. So for example, if I have the music app right here, Safari right here, but I'm sharing my Mac screen right here, I can actually take the mouse and go on to Safari, which is running off the AVP, and then now I can control that and type in like that using keyboard and mouse. Um, and this is very similar to what you can do if you had a trackpad, if you had like it separate. I just wanted to point out that when you're screen sharing, you can actually do it like simultaneously. So that's pretty dope. Now I want to talk about gaming. Gaming right now is where this device is not going to shine. In the future, it probably will, but just right now, no. MetaQuest easily has way more games. So if you're somebody who's looking for, a gaming device with like a vast library, oh, Quest all day. Quest is easily going to be what I tell people to get in terms of that. If you're somebody who's open to getting a product and knows down the line more stuff is going to come out, you probably prefer the AVP, but it really just depends on what you're looking for. But game wise, this thing has games, but there's just not as many out. Now, mind you, there are several like iPad and iPhone games you can run on it, but when I'm talking about games, I'm talking about games specifically mapped for the APV that can take advantage of all the cool new features. Now, in terms of running it to connecting it with a PC and all that, I haven't tried all that stuff yet. I'm not sure if you can do it yet, but I'm sure you're going to be able to do it in the future. For me, I like these devices for entertainment and productivity. That's kind of my use case for them. I'm cool with playing like a little game here and there, but I'm not really deep into like the whole VR gaming and connecting it to the PC. It's something I'm looking at in the future, but not right now. So gaming wise, if you want something that, has a vast game library, MetaQuest 3 is easier the better option in terms of that. Next, I want to talk about the pass-through technology. This device has better cameras than the MetaQuest 3, so the pass-through videos are going to be clear, meaning like if I'm walking down the hallway or I'm walking this way, the videos are going to be clear, or even when you're sitting with the device in, it's just going to look clearer. Now, mind you, with both devices, you got to have light. In a low light setting, you're still going to be able to see grain. In a setting with a good amount of light, it's pretty clear. Is it like crystal clear 4K? Not necessarily, but it looks better than the Quest 3 for sure. But keep in mind, this device has more cameras and it has better cameras, so it should look clear. But the pass-through technology, I do like better on the AVP. Also, keep in mind, the AVP is way more expensive, so hell, it better be better. Another thing I want to talk about is watching content on this device. Now, watching content, I would say is extremely comparable to the Quest 3. The only difference is this device has better display, so it is going to look a little bit better, a little bit cleaner. It's going to be better. Is it like night over day better? Nah, I wouldn't. It wouldn't even go there to say that because YouTube VR on the Quest is amazing. I'm sure YouTube VR is going to end up coming out for Apple, eventually. But yeah, YouTube VR is amazing. So looking at pictures and videos is a place where this device shines, especially if you're somebody like myself who has an iPhone, who has a MacBook, who has iCloud. Meaning, when you turn this thing on, boom, you're gonna have access to your iCloud library, and it's just something about looking at content blown up that's just better, whether it's pictures or videos. You could definitely do that on the Quest 3 as well. It's just not going to be in sync in the way that the iCloud account works, which of course is just the way it is. Like I say, like I pointed out from the beginning, I think people who will really like this device are people who love Apple's ecosystem and just the fact that you can have everything connected. That's definitely one of the strongest selling points for honestly any Apple product. I think I got my first iPhone when I was in college, and the fact that I still have notes on my phone from when I was in college is just amazing because I'm going back looking at them sometimes. So it's just dope viewing everything on a larger screen. But like I said, you can definitely view content on the Quest 3. So in that area, I would definitely say, they're very similar, but it is a seamless experience. Next thing I kind of want to touch on is the immersive mode. Now, the immersive mode to me is better on the Apple Vision Pro. The reason I feel like it's better is for the simple fact that Apple Vision Pro, when you do the immersive mode, it's more so going to be like it's not so much trying to take you away from reality to virtual reality. It's more so trying to put you in a different environment. So when you look around at the immersive mode, like this actual real place, whereas on my Quest 3, it takes you to like a digital world. You get what I'm saying? So, and that's dope as well, but it's just, and also on the Quest 3, I'm sure maybe you can change it. I haven't just heavily looked into it. Maybe you could probably do something similar on the Quest 3, but on Apple Vision Pro, it comes preloaded with the real environments. A cool thing about the immersive mode as well, let's say you're in the desert on there, and you turn it into immersive mode. Now you can actually hear like a sound effect as if you were sitting out there. So it's such a subtle touch, but it's one of those things where, let's say you're on the computer, boom, you got immersive mode pulled in, and you're like just locked in. It's like a cool thing because it kind of makes you feel more secluded than you can kind of get with the Quest 3. But like I said, with that, I'm sure you can do custom environments on the Quest 3 that maybe can give you the same feeling, but that's definitely one of the areas where this device shines when you're using the immersive mode, when you want to focus, when you want to truly lock in on something you're working on. As I mentioned, the ecosystem is where this shines. So let's say I'm working on my script. Sometimes I have trouble focusing on my script. So with this device, I'm basically able to black everything out and kind of just take myself to another world, zoom in, have my script on a huge screen, and lock in. Like I said, you can do things similar on the Quest 3, but naturally, by this being an Apple product, it's gonna better connect with like a MacBook Pro, or I don't even want to say better connect. It's gonna be easier to connect just because the company who's making the product. So that's just what it is. So a lot of people were like, "What is this device for?" I think the Apple Vision Pro is whatever you want it to be. I think that's a big thing with purchasing this device. With the Quest 3, it is more geared towards gaming, but you can do things. With the Apple Vision Pro, it's kind of like a blank canvas. You have to figure out what you want to do with it. And that's where you can justify the value, or maybe you're not able to justify, but you got to know what you want to do with it. It's definitely not one of those things where it's like, it's super great at this or it's super great at this. It's too early in the product's life cycle to really make claims like that, like, oh, it's better at this or it's better at that. I think the Apple Vision Pro is for people who like Apple products, and for people who like just being connected like that. Also for people who are heavy into tech. There are some people who I consider myself to be more into cameras, but when I was growing up, technology is like, I don't know, I'm probably showing my age here, but I don't know if you all remember how popular MP3 players were. But if you can remember back to that time, it was an error. A lot of companies made different MP3 players. Some people had the iPod, some people had the Zoom, some people had the SanDisk, some people had the Creative Zens. I don't even know if y'all remember them, but that is what this device feels like. It's like, damn, like this is just another option from another company. So in terms of what you could use it for, what I like to use the device for, watching videos on a big screen, come on, that's always going to be amazing. I like to sit in my bed, connected to my computer, go into immersive mode and work on my screenplays. I've tried editing videos in it. That and editing videos in it is fun as well. 'Cause I do edit, so I do edit a lot of videos as well. I've tried editing, but sometimes Premiere can be a little bit laggy. So what I found is browsing the internet, watching videos, and primarily working on my scripts in immersive mode are kind of the things I like to do so far with it. And keep in mind, we need more apps for this device, which they're going to come out over time. So as better apps come out, like for example, today there's a kid in the Facebook group. I think he's 17. Created an Instagram app, but we don't have an official Instagram app. So you got to keep that in mind. A lot of the things that it can potentially do are not done yet. So you got to keep that in mind. So now I want to touch on how it compares to the Quest 3. I think this is kind of the biggest thing. Everybody's been comparing these devices. And honestly, after just spending more and more time with both devices, I think while they are very similar, they're also very different in a sense of this device is easily far more developed, just by Oculus even being around longer. Now, of course, Apple has been doing R&D on this type of device for a very long time. But in terms of a product coming to market, this is far more developed. That's why it's lighter. That's why the battery's built in. And that's just what it is with anything you buy. That's how it's always going to be. With this device, a lot of potential for sure. But ultimately, like I said, it depends on what you're kind of looking for. If you're somebody who is more so going to do the VR gaming, you want to run it with a PC, you want to like focus on gaming, but also you want to be able to do apps because on this device you can actually install Android apps as well. So it's extremely flexible. This is probably the better value. And like I said earlier, if price is the thing, this is the better value. If you're somebody who likes uh, if you're somebody who really likes your Apple devices being connected, you're also open to waiting on this thing to get further developed, then it's definitely something you would enjoy. Although it doesn't have a ton of apps, it's extremely enjoyable. Like I said, but as I said, I'm somebody who likes technology. So when it comes to stuff like this, and I'm pretty sure anybody watching this video, you probably like technology. So if you like technology, to be honest, you would like either one of these. You have a lot of fun with this, and you'll have a lot of fun with this. But overall, in terms of like how the devices compare, I think both of the devices are great. I'm actually going to keep both. I pretty much already made up my mind. The second I put that Quest on, I was sold. The second I brought that Apple Vision Pro home, I was sold. And it's really one of those things where I have to say, you know what? Am I going to use both of these devices all the time? I don't think any VR headset you're going to use until these things become lighter, better battery life, and whatnot. I don't think any of these things are meant to just be used 24/7. Let's just get that clear. If I was somebody who had to pick one, like most people, right? I would just go with what I wanted more or what you could afford. If price is the main thing you're looking for, if price is the main thing you're looking at, all day, just get the Quest 3. It's just as fun. If you're somebody who is not worried about the price, you can afford to get the Apple Vision Pro, I would say get it. And also, if you're somebody who like does a lot of work on the computer, whether it's editing, script writing, or you're somebody who just works on the computer a lot, specifically a MacBook, I would say yeah, you'll definitely enjoy the Apple Vision Pro. For just a casual VR person who's just getting into it, I think the Quest is easily the thing that people should get. It's cheaper. You can experiment with it. Um, the Quest can also be connected to the MacBook and to Windows as well. So if you just want bigger screens, it's a cool device to use as well. Like I say, I think the Apple Vision Pro really caters to people who love Apple. Number one, um, but also people who kind of just are looking like they're interested in it, but like because Apple's trying to push a different way. Like I say, when they say spatial computing, you can technically do that on both devices. It's just a term, but that's how Apple does. They try to push people in a different way. Yeah, but overall, like I said, I think we pretty much touched on everything. I think if you're a person who likes technology, if you're a person who loves your devices being connected, you'll definitely like the Apple Vision Pro. If you can afford it, I would definitely suggest getting it. If you can't afford it, but you still want to experiment with VR, I think Quest is a great option as well. And also, you got to keep in mind these prices are going to drop. Now, is this thing ever going to be hella cheap? We don't know. But Apple, you know how Apple does. They're going to have like an SE, they're going to have like an Air or Light version, and then they're going to have a Pro. That's just how it's going to be. So eventually, the price is going to go down, and more people will be able to get it. I do see this type of technology eventually probably overtaking like pads and tablets. I could definitely see that. In terms of people who would rather have it here than in their hands, I think we just got to kind of see how it goes. But yeah, device is great. And honestly, if you go back to my first video regarding the Quest 3, like some people felt like I hadn't spent enough time with the Apple Vision Pro. And honestly, my opinion is still pretty similar. I think that both devices are great. I think if you like Apple products, you're definitely going to love it. If you're somebody who wants a great VR device, the Quest for the vast majority is going to be for most people. But yeah, the device is great. It's cool. It's super fun to use, super easy to use. It's definitely enjoyable. It's one of those things. I think this just comes down to price point. You know what I'm saying? This is, like I said, it's obviously not a cheap. I can imagine a lot of kids, specifically, I'm talking about the kids who don't have parents that are rich, probably want this device. Look, kids, all you all watching out there, just know that even if you can't get the Apple Vision Pro now, as long as you stay on top of what you're doing in your life, stay positive, keep going in the right direction, at some point in time, you'll be able to buy whatever you want. So if your parent comes home with the Quest, I'm here to tell you, as a person who's been there, as a person who owns both devices, both of these devices are great. Do not get caught up in the way that the world is and saying that, oh, you need this or you need that. I'm telling you, both of them are extremely enjoyable and you will have a great time. So I just felt like I had to point that out because oftentimes with social media, with the internet, people make it seem like you have to have this. No, get whatever you want. If you can't afford it, save up, and get whatever you want. But I'm here to tell you, you will like both. Both of these devices are amazing. Um, and I just wanted to talk about the Vision Pro just more in depth because, like I said, because I'm not one of those people who wants to be biased or one of those things. I'm going to try it out, and I'll let you know if I like it. I'll let you know if I don't like it. But yeah, I don't want to be too preachy today. I just wanted to get on here and talk about my experience regarding Apple Vision Pro. Like I said, I've been sitting with it, experimenting with it, and it is a fun device. And I just wanted to let everybody know who's ever on the edge of purchasing it. Just make sure you can not only justify the purchase, but just understand that it's going to take a little bit of time for the different apps and stuff to come out. It's very much like when the iPhone and the iPod Touch and all that stuff first came out. Like, yes, there were apps. I don't know if you remember Jelly Car and stuff like that, but it just takes a little bit of time. So with that being said, I thank y'all for supporting this channel. I appreciate y'all asking all the questions. If you have anything you want to know about the Apple Vision Pro or even the Meta Quest or even cameras and cinematography, man, drop a comment below and I'm always going to respond back and try to help the next person. So with that being said, I hope I was able to answer their questions, but until we meet again, peace.